Recording in progress. Okay, you're up, Leo. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. If you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, share, all of that. Just gonna smudge a little bit. Clear the area. Bada bing, bada boom. Do some of that. Candle and invite spirit. Come and deliver messages for you. I do use cards, but mostly I channel information. So we will see what spirit has to say for you today. All right. Leo, apparently you're being catapulted into, like the stratosphere somehow or another. I think there's going to be some really great opportunities for you coming up, especially over the course of the next couple of months, but it's not limited to the next couple of months. This reading is meant to go out to at least a year, but we'll see what it is that happens. So I started out the reading by looking at, what's happening like now in the current time period, maybe over the course of the next week or so. But the cards can sometimes reflect things that are happening longer period of time. And so you'll see what's going to happen. All right. So tell me what is happening for the collective sign of Leo for the, we'll say, the immediate future over the course of the next week or so, and see what this has to say for you. Spirit says that there's no holding you back. So that's interesting. And we are in Aries time period, and you are a Leo, so that's like two fire signs going on there, right? And Mars is having its way these days, which is also an aggressive sign, or aggressive planet anyway. So let's see what's happening. Apparently there's a Mars-Saturn conjunction. So it's like everybody's trying to like run forward, go forward, go forward, go forward. And Mars and Saturn is saying like stop, right? So in the previous readings that I've done around this time period, Saturn has been trying to get people to like slow down and to make correct decisions, because we are in Mercury retrograde right now. So apparently whatever you're doing, maybe because you're a Leo and the sun is your ruling planet and the sun is in Aries, maybe it's not having such a we'll call it like an impeding effect on you, but we'll see what's happening. Leo. What's happening with Leo first now? All right, so this is all about tactics. So you have the Seven of Swords, which is a card I use for like fear of moving forward. Right? It can be a lot of, in this deck, it shows like utility, right? But it's like you can see you have the Ace of Swords, right? So well, you have Ace of Swords plus like 6 swords around it. So this is a card that can indicate about new ideas coming in around you, but then a lot of self-doubt, right? You have the other swords are mental activity. So you have one sword running up the middle, but then you have these other swords, other thoughts that can be more like negative thoughts, or whether they are coming from you or whether they're coming from other people doesn't necessarily matter, right? But Seven of Swords is a card that can have to do with conflict. It can have to do with like lying, cheating, stealing. It can be all of those things depending upon what deck you use, right? But this is showing here also like worry about money and finances. Oh, this is interesting. And so you have the Seven of Cups here, which is a card that is usually more related to like daydreaming. It's like all about illusion. I mean, it's kind of called debauchery. It usually comes up when people like drink too much, but because it's about illusion, right? It's related to like very much like Neptunian themes. But you do have like the Ten of Pentacles here, which is about like money, finances, financial security. It says that there's a lot of like balance coming up here, a lot of changes, right? So apparently this looks like you're trying to make some sort of like investments or some sort of like financial deals and not really sure about how to proceed, right? So that's interesting, right? Five of Pentacles is also a kind of change, right? It says that you're, so it does talk about like opportunities to go and seek help elsewhere. It means that there's help that is available to you. It may not necessarily be something that you can see at the present time, right? But it is very much a time period about like trusting your instincts, right? You do have the Princess of This here, which is a card about, you can see the chick here, she's like pregnant, right? But this is like pregnant with like money, finances, things like that, right? So it's a card that can bring up cards, things related to like education, right? It's a card that can bring up about like business opportunities being presented to you, right? And it says that you're being open here to all possibilities, starting a new cycle around your life. It says that there's celebration, right? Again, you have the creativity, right? Five of Pentacles is a card that says there's worry, but this looks like it's like there's a conflict here between your head and your heart, right? Emotions related to heart, swords related to head, Pentacles related to physical body, physical actions, things like that, right? Right. Then you have the Queen of Discs here. So both of these cards here can be, especially Queen of Discs, is a card about it's like material goods, like I forget the word. I hate when I lose words like that. Resources. That's what I'm. That. So you are sitting here and you're manifesting, and you do have the ability to manifest. The Empress card is a card about like manifestation, right? Being able to manifest things. She's all about like creative energy, things like that, right? So you have the Queen, not the Queen. She is a queen, right? She's the Empress. She's like the goddess Venus. So you have her sitting here, right? So you have like what I call the big three, the major arcana three, but you also have the Three of Cups. So you have like two different threes running around here, right? And what else? 7, 5, 7. You have like two sevens. Some people would say that when you have multiple sevens, they can be internal fears that aren't necessarily real. Of the World card. So you're completing a cycle here, right? You have Queen of Wands. This is you. It doesn't really matter whether you're male, female. There's new emotion. This card tells me about like new emotional adventures, home stability, things like that. You do have Venus here, right? And Venus is a card that is about like, it is a card that's about like love, like beautification, things like that. But it's also a card about money. So if you are looking for money, you have like Venus here, you have like Queen of this, you have like Two of Pentacles, you have Ten of Pentacles over here, the Princess of this over here. So I like I said, I do think that there's opportunities here for really big opportunities. Especially, I use the Four of Wands as a card about like changing home, things like that. So if you are in Ten of Pentacles is a card that can be related to real estate, legacy, like making your mark on the world, things related to inheritance, like that kind of a thing, right? Whether you are receiving an inheritance or if you are setting yourself up to be able to leave inheritances, right? There's definitely things here that are related to like opportunities for like money, finances, things like that. Right? Because you're sitting here with the Fool card, which says that you're being open to all possibilities here. So it's like you're starting a new cycle. It's telling me you're, I don't know why the Five of Pentacles is telling me that you're starting a new trend, right? So whatever that's all about. But you have the World card here, which is a card about recognition, people recognizing you for your talents. With the World, it is also a card that can be related to international types of investments, things like that. Or if you're going to go to school in international countries, things like that. Or some sort of international type like endeavor, right? But if this is talking about business opportunities, that it does talk about people recognizing you for your talents, right? And with the Seven of Swords here being a card about tactics, I would say make sure that if you're going to be involved in business dealings, make sure that you know your worth, right? If you're bringing something to the table and somebody's making you an offer, right, then make sure you know what you're worth. Like, make sure, like, because it's a card about education, right? People recognizing you for your talents. You know, it's definitely make sure that you know what your worth is. Get things like signed in contracts, like stuff like that, right? We are in a retrograde, so make sure you're dotting your I's, crossing your T's, read contracts, right? Maybe you might want to wait until after the retrograde, in April, so that would be like the beginning of May or the very end of April anyway. But things look like they're going like really, really good, right? Apparently there's something here that you have manifested or you're in a process of manifesting. And you're like, wow, I really didn't think that this was going to happen, but oh my God. Right? That's kind of like what this looks like to me. So I think that you're more surprised than anybody, right? But like, I don't know, we knew you could do it. So I also just want to say, right, that when I started this reading, when I started this like sequence of readings, I was really thinking that I was going to start with a general reading for like everybody and then just go through all of the signs in one session and then leave like timestamps so everybody could look and, you know, check out where their sign was, but that didn't really happen. So it would be a really good idea for you to go back and look at the first video that I did. I should be marked like April 8th, April 9th, April 7th, somewhere around there. I haven't posted it at this present time of this recording, so I don't know what date it's going to be, but it will be somewhere around this same time period, April 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that. Right? And at least listen to the beginning part. It will say welcome Aries, but then it goes into a reading for, you know, generally for like everybody. And it blew my mind, right? So I'm the one that did the reading, right? So Spirit came through with some really intense, amazing messages for y'all. So check it out, right? So yeah. So this is a card that this is these here card, because this is about card, this is about like house, Venus, right? Money, real estate. This is telling me that there could be, and then you have like celebration here, right? So this could be a big time period where you're trying to like beautify your house, especially if you're trying to beautify your house in order to sell your house, right? Because it looks to me like you're heading in a different direction here. And, I would say with the Four of Swords here, this is a card that does say like, it does say trust. It's a card that usually indicates about kind of taking like time, like a 4-week time period, right? So I would tell you to take time, beautify your house, right? Gather your resources, right? Because things are in the process of changing. Things are trying to balance out for you here, right? The Two of Pentacles is a card. It does say yin yang. It is ruled by Jupiter. So this is a time period about like luck, expansion, things like that, right? And wherever it is that you're trying to move to, the yin yang thing can also indicate about, balance, but also if you're trying to move someplace that is also going to have like health benefits for you, right? Because the Empress card is about beauty, things like that. Queen of Wands is a card that can indicate things related to a glow up kind of a situation for you. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're male, female. Queen of Wands is a card about intense power. So, like I said, people recognizing you for your talents and your abilities. So, yeah, you're really moving into a really good direction here. And I don't know where this is coming from. And like spirit gives you messages, right? But if you have things in your basement, right, I would tell you go down there and clear things out, right? Get rid of like the garbage down there. The spirit is telling me that you may very well find like a good surprise down there that you forgot about, that's like hidden down there or something like that, right? The other thing is that it may not necessarily be in your physical basement, right? It may very well be your subconscious area, right? Because when you dream, if you're dreaming about a house, the basement represents your subconscious, right? So you may want to do some meditation. A lot of times the Four of Swords can come up connected to meditation. And so you may want to kind of meditate and kind of see what kind of things come up for you, for yourself, right? And I forgot to turn on the okay, let's see. Okay, hopefully that's better now. I really hope that turned out okay. Oh, man, hate that. Anyway, so glad I caught that. Without the mic, it can sound like really, it can sound really bad. Anyway, all right. So anyway, yeah. Check and see what things are happening in your subconscious area, because there are things that could be hidden down there, things that you had wanted to do before, but maybe they didn't necessarily pan out or didn't think you were good enough or something like that, right? And so it could very well be time to check for your quote unquote like hidden talents, right? And you may very well be utilizing these talents and not necessarily see them as being a talent. So check that out. All right. So let's see what is happening with Leo over the course of the next like 3 months. Okay. You do have the Three of Wands at the bottom of this deck, by the way, and Three of Wands is a card about um, it is a sun in Aries, which is where we are now, right? This is a card that it can be related to commerce, about like a ship coming in, things like that, right? It does have a very strong like orange color, which is a color of courage, right? It does, the card itself is called Valor. So there is that is sitting there too. So this could be, this is a card that does indicate about, you know, things are ready to take off for you, right? Um, the next layer, we do have the Eight of Pentacles, which is a card that says whatever ideas you have running around the back of your head, put them into action over the course of the next um, 8 weeks, basically the next like 2 months, right? It says to be, it's talking about being focused on what it is that you're trying to manifest here. It is related to the sun in Virgo, so you might be, analyzing things to death, stuff like that, right? Virgo is all about like analyzation, stuff like that, right? But what Spirit is telling me is that the reason why we're bringing up about this card being the sun in Virgo is that Virgo is a mutable sign, right? So you don't want to be like kind of like hard fast in whatever it is, right? Like be fluid in your decision making, right? Like tactics, right? We do have the Seven of Swords up there, right? So be tactical. You don't necessarily have to be overly aggressive, right? But you can be like steadfast in what it is that you desire, right? But maybe it's something that comes like over time as well, right? Maybe something like is build, 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 build. So I wouldn't really be surprised if the Three of Pentacles shows up, because that's what that card indicates. So we'll see what's going to go on here. You have the Wheel of Fortune, things turning around in a more positive direction. This is Aries time period, right? This could be a very lucky time period for you, right? It would be important for you not to have an attitude, right? Page of Swords is also a card that talks about, communication and things. You have the Eight of Swords here, which is about things happening like quickly, right? Talking of, it's like communication, so anything related to like writing, writing thoughts, like speaking, right? Talking to people, new ideas, right? It says to be the Ace of Swords is a card that can talk about being very focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish here, right? Six of Cups, people, places, things from the past can have an ability to show up, right? Especially like financial opportunities that are being presented to you, right? With the Knight of Wands here, this is a situation where you might be, we'll just say you might be kind of agitated, right? It really feels like you could be like pissed about some stuff, right? But whatever. So yeah, so you do seem to be walking away here from some things, probably something related to a past relationship, right? Especially if the person was kind of immature, right? Because you do have, again, the Empress card, you have the Chariot, Sun, Ace of Pentacles here, right? You have three aces. So this is definitely a time period about new beginnings. You have new physical beginnings, entrepreneurial skills, Ace of Swords, new ideas. Again, you have the Queen of Wands over here. Spirit, you have the High Priestess card, which is about like new ideas coming in here, especially if you have a spiritual mentor, right? And I will put this out there that like if you are looking for a reading, you can contact me and we can set up that. So there's that. But yeah, we have the Wheel of Fortune here, which can talk about things coming up from the past, but it is a card that is about, things are trying to move forward, with the Six of Cups being a card about nostalgia, things like that, childhood, whatever, right? Connected to the Wheel of Fortune, it's something that can bring up things related to your past, right? Especially related to like childhood friends, like things like that, right? It's interesting because you do have the Empress card here, right? So if you were thinking about like children and that was on the table, or that was off the table, right? That could something that could come up again, right? Especially because the Knight of Wands can be a sexually related card, and you do have like Ace of Pentacles, new physical beginning, Ace of Wands, new energetic beginning. So spirit, right? So if you are away on vacation somewhere, there could very well be a pregnancy that shows up like that, right? Especially if it's a place where you went before, place of healing, stuff like that, right? Maybe if you're like really like stressed out, like I said, like kind of like pissed off, whatever, and kind of looking to kind of get away, relax, like like honeymoon kind of a thing, or just we need to get away. We need to get away. Like I'm like so stressed out. This work-life balance is not really working for me right now. It's like we need to get away. And especially if you are like especially if you're a female, um, like things could be really like stressed out for you right now, right? And so this could very well be a thing where you just need to like get away somewhere. Right? I just need to get away. Right? With the sun there, that does bring up more male energy. The moon is more female energy, right? So you could be having a lot of like a lot more kind of like male interactions that are kind of like stressing you out, right? And I just need like to get away someplace that's going to help me to ground, feel like my energy is like flowing better, right? Want to watch your high blood pressure, stuff like that. Um, with all the wands like sitting over here, right? That can be an indication about like health related things like high blood pressure, stuff like that. Stress, headaches, Page of Swords up there. Definitely bring up things related to like headache type issues, stuff like that. Um, so like over the course of the next like 3 months here, it's an indication about making plans to get away, to travel, to like take care of yourself. Looking into health benefits, things like that, or especially if they are related to alternative health benefits. We're not necessarily looking at things that have to do with like medication and things like that. We're looking at Eight of Cups here, walking away from things that no longer serve you. Um, like again, we have like the High Priestess therapy, spirit trying to guide you. So this is looking like things being more like natural, right? Because you do have like the base elements around here, right? So Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, like earth, spirit, air, right? Um, so we are looking into that kind of thing. Right? So this is going to be an important time period because one of the things that I'm watching here, right, is that if you're somebody who has headaches, right, what that is an indication of in reality is that spirit is trying to bring you new ideas, new information, right? They're trying to guide you in a good direction here, right? And you're refusing to listen. You're trying to be like, toe the line, and this is what I need to do. This is what I've always done, right? And it's like, and that's not working for you anymore. it's not working anymore. So Spirit is trying to bring in alternative information for you, alternative ideas, right? And it could very well be that somebody else around you is offering you that information, and it's like, oh, it sounds good, but like that's like head in the clouds, right? It's like head in the clouds, and like so head in the clouds and having an attitude. So um, and you're sitting here trying to be like down to earth and being like all, you know, stop trying to control things. Okay, take time out, meditate, investigate. Right, I would tell you investigate new ideas coming in around you. Talk to people about new things, new opportunities, right? It can be money that comes in here around you very quickly, right? And things increasing very quickly, right? But it's like it's almost like you can't be like too like laser focused on like one idea, right? It's like this could be a time period about exploration. It could be time to um, diversify somehow or another, or it could be an opportunity that you have this one idea, but maybe it's like the way that that's being done, maybe it is something that can succeed, but if it's done a little bit differently, or maybe it's being done with like different people somehow or another, because the Two of Pentacles is a kind of change, right? So you may have to kind of like change things a little bit, mix it up. So there is that situation, right? So you are ruled by the sun, right? Leo, you are ruled by the sun. You do have this fire, you do have the sun here, right? And so I would say that things are going to be going forward here and looking really good for you by the time we get to your birthday, because you do have the sun here, right? A lot of creativity building up, moving forward, leaving things behind. By the time we get into the summer, you're going to be like new, refreshed, and ready to move on to greener pastures. We did have the eclipse, right? That's what this is. You see the eclipse up here, right? And so the eclipse could have you heading in a new direction over the course of the next 8 weeks, right? You do have like the Eight of Pentacles here. You have the Eight of Cups over here, right? And so it's definitely indication about like changes trying to happen for you, right? In a really good way. So it's just going to be time for you to step things up, own your own ideas, right? If you are having new ideas, right, maybe time to investigate them, see what kind of things they bring. Right? So it's happening with Leo over the course of the next like year. Leo over the course of the next year, right? Holding on to money, saving money, right? Can be like certain kinds of like investments being made. Right? This would be an indication about trying to hold on to your money, but doing like small investments, right? And I would also say that if people are trying to borrow money from you, right, that's probably going to be not a wise thing for you, right? Because this is a card that can indicate about, it talks about like alms for the poor, trying to balance things, right? So like, I mean, if you have money, right, then and someone's looking to borrow money from you, right? Maybe like a small amount, right? Like breadcrumbs kind of thing, right? But make sure that you're doing it with gratitude, right? So it's like giving things because you're grateful, right? It's that kind of like scenario that's going on there, right? Because you are moving forward here in a more emotional kind of way. You do have the Knight of Cups here, which is knights are people who are more active, right? So it's kind of can bring up more like Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio type energy, right? Like trying to move on here in a more emotional way. So again, we're talking about, remember we just said a minute ago about like work-life balance, right? So you're sitting here moving forward emotionally, but also still being focused on what it is that you're doing. So there's like an emotional, like physical sort of like balance thing that's trying to happen around here, right? You're moving into a time period over the course of next year where you are going to be like more self-sufficient, right? And I do think that you will be able to hold on to money too, right? You could very well be like, somehow or another, like saving money that you weren't able to save before, right? So then, like saving money, but maybe like buying something like that you weren't really able to buy before. So there's a rush of new energy coming in around here, right? Again, you have the Two of Pentacles, juggling things, balancing things, right? You have the again, you have the Knight of Pentacles here, which is a card. Again, knights are active, so this is somebody who's looking to move forward here in a more financial way. Um, this doesn't necessarily feel like you. This makes me feel like there is somebody who is around you, possibly a relative, or somebody who's close to you, like a relative, who is doing something in a um, doing something different in a financial way, right? And maybe they've invested in something and they're getting some sort of like a payback on their investment, right? So could very well be that you're talking to them about what they've invested in and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily know that it's a merger, but that's what I'm hearing in my head, especially with the Two of Pentacles here. It's like trying to balance things. But you do have the Hangman card here, which is about it's a lot about some people look at it as being like stuck, right? But it is a card about changing your perspective about things. So um, especially people that were trying to like be like controlling in the past and stuff. Um, with the Hangman card, Six of Cups, and the Judgment card, over the course of the next year, it's telling me that you can very much be letting go of um, judgments about like yourself and your own like victimhood. So it looks like there's going to be a lot more kind of like healing of like trauma. Because there is balancing of your energies around here, right? Major reorganizations, right? It can be endings, major reorganization. So, right. So we do have the Five of Cups here, right? The Five of Cups is a card about like loss and disappointment. You do have the Tower card here, which is a major reorganization, right? It's like I'm being told here that there's things happening here, changes in strategies, things like that. And losses that have affected you, impacted you in a really big way, right? Especially Haman card is victim, um, Five of Cups, loss, disappointment. Um, Power card with the Five of Cups can be like some sort of like trauma. So there can be new ideas coming in here about how to like balance, right? Two of Pentacles, balance your energies, right? And whether that is balancing your energies with medication, it doesn't necessarily say medication, although the Ace of Swords, which is under here, can be an indication about changing medication. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I'm just saying that whatever it is that you've been dealing with here, as far as trauma is concerned, it looks like there are going to be some sort of new ideas about how to balance that, right? Because this does look like there are going to be things coming up here from your past, and it's like, past, and like major decisions being made and juggling, and like really like getting rid of things that no longer serve you, right? Especially if that is like major sort of like trauma. It looks like there's going to be a big kind of like healing here that is happening for you, right? Because this does tell me that you're going to really be able to identify what your worth is about. So you may not necessarily know your worth right now, currently, but over the course of the next year, and especially by the time we get into this summer, uh, it's going to be like a lot of like, or at least the opportunities are going to be around you that are going to very much be about healing and knowing your worth, and could definitely be some sort of like retreat that's happening here, especially if it is in a different country. We do have at the bottom of this deck, we do have the Nine of Wands, right? Which is, I've been seeing this card a lot related to Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So wounded healer is like if you do have this wound, right, which astrologically speaking, there are planets that are Chiron is moving through the house of Aries right now, and there are other planets that are affecting Chiron right now. So there is going to be different healings that are happening with people right now, right? And this guy, right, he is wounded, right? And it's the completion of a cycle on an energy level, and he is not going backwards in time, right? There's basically this wall of wands of energy there, and that is like he's holding one wand, and then he has the eight wands behind him, right? Eight wands is a card about communication, right? So it's like I'm talked out, right? And I'm talked out, and I'm holding on to this wand, and I have these new ideas around me. I have this new revitalized energy about how I am doing like health and benefits and things like that for me, and I'm like done with the past, right? It's like that's done. We're being a new person. And the Ace of Wands is a card about new energy. It's a very entrepreneurial based card, and it can be new relationships. And usually it's a card. Aces are about the self, so it could very well be a different kind of new kind of relationship that you're having with yourself, right? So the Tower card, it's like sitting here, right? Um, this is all about how like your tower is here and it's all falling down, right? It's Mars energy. And so Mars cuts things away, right? But this tower is a tower that has been built on things that are unreliable. The ground is unreliable, right? So it's like you'd be going through a tumultuous time period right now, because where you have built your house, where you have built your structure, is no longer serving you. You thought it was going to be okay, but it's not, right? So now it's time to rebuild. It's time to kind of redo your structure, right? And Mars is giving you that energy to be able to do that, right? There's going to have to be some endings first, right? Dealing with loss, disappointment, but juggling, trying to balance things, like a lot of healing that's trying to happen here over the course of the next month, right? And you could very well be giving up things related to like drugs or different kinds of addiction, right? I was just watching somebody who was taking pills, right? And so especially if you're like hooked on like prescription medication, right? Maybe time to investigate alternative ways of like doing healing, rather than like, oh, I need this pill, I need this pill, I need this pill. Well, maybe you don't need that pill, right? So I'm just saying it could be time to investigate other kinds of things that are more natural for you, right? Like different kinds of lifestyle, different kinds of, interacting with different people, different kinds of jobs, businesses, things like that, right? Um, just feels to me like there's, it's, I'm just saying different things because, there's a lot of people out there. So I don't know who's going to be listening to this. So it could be different avenues, different strokes for different folks, kind of a thing, right? Whatever's kind of like floating you. I just know that this is going to be a big time period over the course of next year that is going to, um, there are deeper parts of yourself, is what Spirit is telling me. There are deeper parts of you that are going to be revealed, right? Things that have triggered you that you're going to have to look at that no longer serve you and figure out why they're triggering you and kind of process that, right? Deal with things from your past, like again, like trauma related things. So I would just say this, like, good for you, right? Because it is important to face your demons. Uh, and this looks like this is going to be a year of revitalization, especially after we get to your birthday, right? Or really like it really feels like anytime after like June. The sun card is related to summer, and the first day of summer is in June, right? June 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there. Um, so I would say anywhere after that, right? Because you do have the sun, right? You have the Knight of Cups here moving forward emotionally. The sun is that, right? And then Ace of Swords is sitting here, new ideas, right? Revitalization, right? Becoming more in charge. You have the Emperor card, right? Whoever it was that was in control of you when you were a child, who was really only giving you like breadcrumbing you along, like little, like oh, you're a good boy, but you still have this going on, right? So people who are only giving you a little bit of affection and like people withholding, right? So if people have been withholding like love for you, care for you, right? And now you're learning how to be like self-sufficient, right? That's what this is. And so it's a lot about changing your perspective about the past, about how you get to be in control of things, like not controlling, but being more in control, being more in charge of your life rather than whoever the control person was in the past, right? It is the emperor, which usually is the father, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the father. It's like, because women can be just as controlling and just as domineering, right? They can be just as abusive, just as abusive as men. Um, so that's my history. So yes, there were things that happened with like the father, but there are also things that happened with the mother. So yeah. Anyway, we're not going to get into all of that. Just saying, whoever the control person was in your past, right? Whoever the dominant person was who caused you to think of yourself as being a victim. It's now not, it's about time to be moving beyond being a survivor, but it's like living your life, owning who you are, owning your worth, knowing what your worth is, because your soul is beautiful and you deserve to live, you deserve to be present, you deserve to be on the planet, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be able to love yourself. And it's time. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about for right now. All right. So that was a lot, right? Okay. I'm going to move on to the sign of Virgo. Which I'm a Virgo, so this should be interesting. seconds. Two shakes of a lamb's tail. Lambs really shake their tail. That's what we really want to know about. Seasons are changing here, folks. Being high 30s, low 40s, and today it's in the 60s. So maybe time to open windows around here. Put some air in. Right? Time for healing. So Virgo. Yes, Virgo, I am one of you. Hooray. All right. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Like I said, it can be important for you to go back and listen to the beginning sign of Aries, Aries Taurus video. I'm not sure what date it's going to be listed as, but it may be like the 7th, 8th, something like that, 9th. But in around this time period, it'll say all signs. It will say general reading for everybody plus all signs part 1, etc. Right, and so there's a general reading there for everybody at the beginning. It was really quite powerful and intense, and it blew my mind. So you might want to go back and check that out. Was delivering messages, and we did oracle cards at that point at the very beginning. It does say welcome Aries. It does say welcome Aries. However, it went into doing this whole other thing that Spirit wanted to do, so we did that, and you'll see. Check it out. All right. If you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, share, all of that. And contact me if you are looking for readings. I also do Reiki, so I can do distance sessions as well, no matter where you are in the world. I do one-on-one readings via Zoom or FaceTime or just on the phone, either way. So, all right, Virgo, sun, moon, rising. What is happening for you over the course of the next week or so with all of these planetary changes and things going on around here? Okay. Be interesting. Okay, Virgo. All right. This is your goals, dreams, aspirations. Awesome. This is marriage, happiness, and family, right? I was told before that in this particular deck, the 10 of Cups can be about codependence, right? So maybe time to be like giving up people that you're codependent with, things of that nature. All right. But to me, this talks also about like goals, dreams, aspirations related to family, right? And possibly like more related to like family of choice, right? Not necessarily family of origin, right? So there is going to be communication here with potentially with like younger people, but the Princess of Cups is also a card that can bring out things related to like childhood, like Sweet 16 sort of like energy, right? New emotions. It's a card about creative energy, things like that, right? And so you could very well be talking to or thinking about like younger people and also like conflicts that you had with these people, right? And so it's definitely talking about you going through a period of adjustment here. There can be legal things that come up around you connected to like you're connected to like family of choice over here as well, right? And trying to balance things as well. Right, you do have the seven of pentacles here, which is a card. It does say like fear of failure. The card that is ruled by Saturn, right? Saturn is about structure. So usually when this card comes up, I tell people that it's going to be a lot about changing things related to your structure, right? You do have the Prince of this here, which can be related to like money, finances, things like that, right? And so decisions being made here about like school education, things like that, business opportunities being made. This kind of ruled by Gemini. We're bringing up things here. It says it also is an indication about, it is like Knight of Swords, right? And in this deck, there are no kings. So the Knight of Swords really is the King of Swords. So they can be, and then you have the Justice card here, right? So both of those cards can bring up things related to like law, legal people, right? The King of Swords is um King of Swords is related to law, legal things, right? He's very clear-minded about what it is that he wants, and he's the only king in the deck in in for the cards in this other deck over here. And what is it? It's the King of Swords. That's like so funny, right? So the King of Swords, he's the only king that looks forward, right? So he's clear, he's justice minded, right? He is ruled by Libra, but he can be like um, he can be Aquarius, Libra, Gemini type person, right? But generally he's ruled by Libra. So, but he's like I was saying, he's the only one that faces forward, and so you have him, and you have the Justice card. So then you have the six of Pentacles here, which is a card about financial success. So you have like this. You have Ten of Pentacles, wealth, financial success, things like that, legacy. What do you want to call it? Could be inheritances, things like that. It's also a card that can be related to real estate. But you also have the Six of Pentacles here. This Six of Pentacles in this deck I use for things happening behind the scenes. To me, it represents like a boardroom. And so I usually see it as like spirit, whoever your guides are, being in the background. Hey, what does Leo need? Right? Or what does Virgo need? Rather, we're doing Virgo. We just did Leo. So what does Virgo need these days? And how are we going to be able to help Virgo? Right? So especially being able to move forward here, right? King of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, right? What you're trying to create over here, what you're trying to manifest, right? Major decisions being made and things related to school, education, stuff like that, business opportunities, being able to move forward here in a more emotional way. This is the King of Cups. Well, in this deck, it's a Knight of Cups. So and there's going to be more sun, more clarity, decisions being made, especially by the time we get into the summer, right? Thinking about like big things that you can do, big opportunities being presented to you by the time we get into the summer, especially if you're making decisions related to school, business opportunities, any kind of education related things. Things that are going to improve your life somehow or another, because the sun does come up here and the sun does connect to uh, revitalization of your health. It talks about new ideas coming in around here. It can bring up warm places that you might want to travel to, right? But it is the brightest light in the sky. The moon, the sun are the brightest lights in the sky. And it's kind of interesting to me that in the past few readings that I've done, I haven't had the moon come up. I have had the sun, and maybe that's because we had the solar eclipse that happened. But it does say there's going to be some sort of conflict, right? And so there's major decisions here, but you may run into some sort of conflict more about timing than anything else, right? It's like, oh, I want to do this thing, but, right? Which probably has to do with this is like this card up here is ruled by Mars, right? Mars and Leo. And so it can be very aggressive time period, things that you want to do. But we do have Mars, which is conjunct Saturn, right? So we have this Mars base card over here, we have Saturn over here, right? And so Mars is like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. Saturn is like, hold your horses here. So let's think about communication, right? Eight of Swords is about communication. It's called swiftness in this deck, but it is about communication. So whether you're writing to people, thinking about things, speaking to things, right? So Saturn is saying, like, hey, let's talk this through. Let's talk you down off the ledge, kind of thing. It's like, you want to go, 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 but like, let's look at like what's underneath this, right? Let's look at I want to say underlying causes, right? But it's like, what are the underlying costs to you in these business opportunities that are being presented to you here, right? Or the education, right? It's like, let's weigh the pros and the cons. That's the word that I'm looking for. So this is going to be a time period for you to kind of just chill out a little bit, right? Mercury is retrograde. Mercury is your ruling planet. It is retrograde for like a couple of weeks this time around. So you may want to, even if you do have resources here, right, you may want to wait and kind of, see how things are unfolding for you, look at options, right? Because you have this kind of here, fear of failure, right? But it's because there's this like codependence that's related to these other people, right? And so it's like, stop thinking about them, stop giving them power, right? Own your own power. Because this is part of this like transition over here, right? And the goals, dreams, aspirations are sitting here. It's really just like a matter of time before you're able to put things into action, right? I don't know where the Hammond card is, but I am getting this thing about things being suspended, right? So the Hammond card is about being stuck, but it is at its core, it is a card that is about changing your perspective about things. So rather than being victim, which card also represents, right? Rather than being victim, it's like own your power and like own your ability to be Virgo, right? Own your ability to analyze things, own your ability to be patient, own your ability to be a mutable sign, right? Like I can go with the flow if I want, right? And just kind of see what opportunities are there being presented to you, right? The bottom of the deck, you do have the magician card. So you are able to manifest things in this time period, right? The magician is about communication. The magician is about having all the tools that you require, right? The downside of the magician is about manipulation, right? So you do want to make sure that you're not playing yourself for a fool, and you want to make sure that you're not being manipulated by other people, and you want to make sure that you're not making sure that you are not manipulating other people, right? So but you will be able to get what you want. This particular magician is about speaking things into existence, right? It is about the magician is about this. There are three magicians in this deck, right? This particular magician I use for fantasies that have ability to become reality. So there's that. What is happening for you, Virgo, over the course of the next 3 months? Right. So this is interesting. I just want to put this out here, right? You do have the Ten of Pentacles here, right? Which is a card that can be related to real estate. So if you are looking to buy something, right, you do have this card here, fear of failure, right? But you do also show like money coming in around here, right? And because you do have wealth, financial security, things like that, right? But you also have this card up here, Princess of Cups, which is a card about creative energy, right? So you may very well be looking into something that is more about a fixer-upper, and you may have conflict about that, but you would also be able to have resources to be able to do that as well, right? So it's something that may very well be in a different area than what you are expecting, or it may be a different set of circumstances than what you're expecting. But I do think that you will be able to get what it is that you're looking for. And I do think that you'll be able to make it be as beautiful as you would like, right? Because you do have this card here, eight of wands there, communication, all right, thinking about making a mistake, right? But by way of like communicating with people about your conflict, right, you will gain clarity, and by gaining clarity around things, you'll know what your resources need to be, and then you'll be able to move forward with that. So things are happening behind the scenes here. So what is happening for you over the course of the next like 3 months, Virgo? 3 months. June. So, like I said to Leo a little while ago, right? The Sun card is ruled by summer, right? And the summer is first day of summer is the first day of June. So by the time we're getting there, right, you are definitely going to be able to have all of the resources set up, right? It's like I think that you're going to receive like resources like ahead of time, but it's like you may not necessarily be pulling the trigger, we'll say, right, until like June time period. So that will be interesting. Could be a time period where between now and June, it's like, well, let's chill out a little bit. It's like, take a beat. We're gonna chill out. We're gonna just like lie in the sun somewhere, right? And explore opportunities, things like that. And just be in a place where you don't really have to do anything. So there's that. I do think that investigation is going to be very important to you over the course of the next like 3 months. Right? Communication, talking to people about what it is that you want, what you're looking to do. Right? Like you could have like, a nest egg kind of a thing, right? Ten of Pentacles, wealth, financial security, right? So you could very well have this thing sitting here, but and I want to do something with this. I want to be able to invest in something, not necessarily like stocks, bonds, things like that, but I want to be able to do something with this in like, real life, like housing or doing something where I'm going to be able to invest, like maybe start a business, something like that, right? But maybe it's not happening like right this minute, right? Maybe I want to investigate about what are my options. So there's that, right? So Queen of Swords is to be clear about what you're doing with your money and finances, right? Queen of Swords is somebody who's going to be able to help you, right? Queen of Swords could be male, could be female, but Queen of Swords is somebody who is ruled by Athena, right? Athena is about strategies, right? Queen of Swords is a card that she's cutting away old ideas, old regimes, old stuff, right? That is no longer serving you, right? And so she's helping you to be very clear about what it is that is happening here with your money and finances. So there's like commerce here. And again, we're looking at over the course of the next 3 months. And here's this card here that does talk about the next 3 months, right? Can be a very stressful time period, doesn't make it bad, right? The Ten of Swords is blessing in disguise, right? So it's an ending. The card at the bottom of this deck is the Hierophant. When you look at the Hierophant, you see the way his hand is, right? See his hand up there, right? So Ten of Swords, same hand, right? They call it a mudra. So this is a card that is about education. It's kind of about like spiritual guidance. It's direct transmission, right? It is this guy here. He's blessing people, right? And so it is a kind of about conformity, right, as well. So you may very well be getting out of a place of conformity as well, because you do have the Death card here, right? So the Death card is like doors closing, new doors opening, right? And if you do know, like Scorpio people around you, there could very well be some sort of like conflict that is happening around there, right? But I think that it is more related to you going through your own death and rebirth, doors closing, new doors opening. Oh, I'm closing all this stuff. This stuff is finally done. Is it really done? I can't believe it's really done. Oh, I'm having a new life now. I can't see what's happening in my new world. It's like I'm writing a new chapter in this book, but like, what am I going to write about? I don't know. I don't know. Like, my mind is so fluttered. all of that kind of stuff, right? Relax, relax. I understand you're a Virgo. I understand that we get in our heads too much. I understand that we analyze things too much, right? Our brain is not always necessarily our friend, right? But you are sitting here moving forward in a more emotional way, right? You are starting a new cycle here, being open to all possibilities, like money, finances, like flowing, right? This is worry about money and finances over the course of the next like 3 months or so. It's not saying that you're not going to have money, but it is saying that there's worry about it, right? Like there are people that said like, oh, you can be a multimillionaire and still worry about your money, right? But this is also an indication about you're starting a new cycle. You're making changes around what you're doing with money and finances too. 5 is a number of change, right? It's like these people are not staying here, they're heading in a new direction, right? Things may not necessarily be where they are, things may not necessarily be where you want them to be right now, but you're starting a new cycle here. You're heading in a new direction, right? You're walking away from this like winter landscape and going someplace better, right? So it's about getting out of your comfort zone. You have the 9, 10 of swords here. I want to just see something for a second. What else is happening here? Queen of Swords. There's a lot of swords. It's very Virgo reading. All right. Swords are the suit of the mind, and Virgo is ruling planet is Mercury, and we are nothing if not mercurial people, all about the mind, right? Having a little attitude because of delays, right? And it's very interesting, right? Because you have this ending here, right? And trying to get out of your comfort zone, especially around like people, places, things, right? This is about like love, relationships, things like that, right? You do have the Hangman card, and Hangman card is like we said, it's a kind of like victimhood, right? You're going through death and rebirth around relationships, right? And so in the past, it's like you've been like victim around relationships, right? Trust issues around them, whatever, right? So it's like thinking a lot about like endings, losses, disappointments, right? And there's all this new stuff that's trying to come in around you, right? And then it's like having an attitude here, because like people may not necessarily be doing what you want them to do. They may not be behaving the way you want them to behave, right? Relax, right? Relax. If you don't like the way that people are behaving, find different people, right? Um, that's all. Find different people, right? If you're trying to get stuff done and the people that you have encountered are not doing things the way that you wanted them to be done, according to your methods, according to like what you want, if you're trying to talk you into doing something that you don't want to do, get rid of them. Right? Specifically, I'm looking at these people who are hanging around chit-chatting, they're saying that they're very progressive. They're saying that they have like these talents, right? And they're saying that they have, that you know, that they have these contacts, right? But they're not really doing anything. So you may have these contacts, but if you're not doing anything, then who cares, right? Leave them over there, head a different direction. Right? That's all I'm saying about that. This is about getting out of your comfort zone, right? Doing things that are different, right? Again, it can be stressful. You can be sitting here having an attitude. That's what this is all about, right? There's a rush of energy coming in around here, right? There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to look at loss, deal with losses. I think there's going to be a lot of things that are coming up here that are related to loss and disappointment, right? And it's like, if you're looking at having like money coming in and looking at new endeavors and things like that, it's like you can't focus on the loss. You have to focus on the positive. You have to focus on what it is that you do have, not what you don't have, right? It's about being open to all possibilities, starting a new cycle, and not focusing on like loss, not focusing on what you don't have, right? And stop worrying about things, right? And because there is a clearing away here related to like people, places, things. So things that are trying to manifest in a really big way for you. So I don't know where this is. It's an A name. I don't know if we're planning on going to Australia or Argentina. The first word I heard was Argentina. I'm like, why are we going to Argentina? That's funny. But some big A name. Anyway, whatever that's all about. What is happening for you, Virgo, over the course of the next year? Let's look at that. This is your wish. Your wish, especially wishes connected to money and finances. Your wish is connected to the Ten of Pentacles. Your wish is connected to like wealth, financial security. Wish is connected to like having a legacy. Wish is connected to like home, property, real estate things. Connected to whatever it is that you're looking for as far as like your money and finances are concerned. Right. So all of that. So again, we have the Eight of Wands, which is a card about communication, right? Your wish, communication. Your wish is happening because of the way that you speak, right? Your wish is not necessarily, oh, I have this wish in my head, and like, so that's going to manifest. Your wish is about what it is that you're speaking, right? So if you're speaking positively, that's what you're going to get. If you're speaking negatively, that's what you're going to get, right? So the Eight of Wands is about communication, right? And so communication can be thoughts, words, and writing. So pay attention to what you are thinking, writing, and speaking about. So there's that. All right. So you're moving into a place, you're talking to this like Leo type person, King of Wands. King of Wands is Leo, Aries, Sag, right? You're talking to this person here, Ten of Pentacles, about like money, finances, right? Wounded healer. You're talking about, all right? So there's an ending of a cycle here, right? And done being victim, there's a healing here that is happening connected to your money and finances, right? But this is a nine, it shows a Nine of Pentacles, but like I said before, right? It's like there are Eight Pentacles behind the guy, and he's holding on to one. So nine, completion of a cycle. He's done with one type of energy, and he's holding on to one, which is a new beginning, which is, you know, he's got the Eight of Wands over here, right? But he's being done, and now he's holding on to the one, which is, when you look at the Hermit card, right? He's holding on to that big staff himself, right? So, and the Ace of Wands is a card about entrepreneurial things. So there's that, right? Fear of failure, things related to money, finances. There's a change in structure here around like your money, finances. There's victory. There's your desires. There's the things that you lust after. You have the High Priestess here, right? So if you are involved in esoteric things, if you're involved in being a reader, if you are a therapist, if you are like a businesswoman, right? High Priestess can be a businesswoman. So businesswoman, businessman. Usually King of Pentacles would show up as being a businessman, but you know, spirit is bringing you like information, messages. King of Cups is the most psychic king. It's all about like your emotions, right? You may very well be in therapy, and because the High Priestess is the kind of the counselor, and like helping to balance your emotions. You have the Ace of Cups here, new emotions coming up around you, taking care of yourself emotionally, right? Again, the Seven of Swords, kind of about tactics, right? It can be a card about lying, cheating, stealing. It can be a card about fear of moving forward, right? But it's like your goals, dreams, aspirations are sitting here, right? There are new emotions coming in connected to how you're going to be moving forward. How it's like trust your instincts, right? Rather than being manipulative, right? Manipulative, tactical, right? Tactical is one thing, but if it gets too much, it can be manipulative, right? So there's goals, dreams, aspirations here connected to like whatever your money, finances, things like that are, right? And also things connected to relationships. So it does look like there's going to be some sort of an improvement around your relationships, but there's an improvement around your relationships because there's an improvement around your relationship with yourself. Okay? There's an improvement around your relationships because there's an improvement around your relationship with yourself. Right? You're giving yourself credit for the things that you've done. You're giving yourself credit for being able to overcome the trauma that you've been involved in. There's or things that didn't necessarily work out, or like apparently you've had like kind of like a difficult time period here, Virgo, but this is really like being like your year. So it's really going to be good for you in a lot of different ways. So I do think that there's going to be different kinds of relationships. It does feel to me like you're meeting your tribe people. You may not have had your tribe people before, but it looks like you're meeting your tribe. So I think that community is going to be an important thing for you. Like I don't see the Three of Cups, but um, that's what that would be about. Um, you have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of this deck. Knight of Pentacles, this is you, right? Money, finances, being able to move forward. Slow and steady wins the race, right? So there's him. You'd have the Two of Pentacles sitting here, right? This is him like juggling his money and finances. Ten of Wands, burdens, responsibilities. But this is also a card about how he is harvesting all of the things that he's worked so hard for. So that's what that is going to be all about. So I do think that you're going to have a really good relationship with spirit this year. You have the High Priestess there, your desire, whatever your desire is connected to, whoever your higher power is, the High Priestess, the goddess, all of that. Your connection to the stars, all of that, whatever your desire is about all of that, that is something that is going to be happening. And I really wouldn't be surprised if you end up meeting your soulmate, which is interesting because this is literally telling me that somebody from the stars is coming to Earth and meeting that person from the stars. So whatever that's all about, that would be very interesting. So to me, it's like more like a soulmate, somebody that you were dreaming about and somebody that you're meeting in the physical form, because you do have the Lovers card there. So, and then you do have the Star, your goals, dreams, aspirations, and these Pentacles is a card that can come up related to marriage. It is generally related to money and finances, so new jobs, business things like that. I don't normally use a Lovers card for the lovers. I usually use it for like the sign of Gemini, so being in sort of a quandary, but it's also kind of about making decisions, right? Being clear about your decisions, intuitively making your decisions, right? Especially since you do have the King of Cups there, right? And so King of Cups is more like husband material. So either meeting a husband, being a husband, or whatever it is, right? Um, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, right? I think that there's that thing that can happen. You have the High Priestess and you have the King of Cups, right? High Priestess is a card that can be like having like if you're the guy, the King of Cups, right? Having the woman, the High Priestess, having her on a pedestal. So can be that, right? But it feels like, but if you're being put on a pedestal, you're also seeing him as being this amazing person. So either way, whatever your relationship is, male, female, male, male, right? It's like you could be meeting your soulmate this year. And if you're not in a relationship, or if you already are in a relationship, that relationship could be going to the next level. Like, and I don't know what goes to the next level after perfection, but let me know in the comments what comes after perfection. Is like, I don't know, but it definitely feels like love going through the roof. So, you know, I don't even know what that means, Virgo, but here we are. So I can like feel it in my bones, right? I can feel it in my soul. Everything going like I'm like mind blowing. Like that's what it feels like. And I am a Virgo and I tend to be like cynical around relationships. And so that blows my mind that could happen. and I am here for it. I'm very open to it and whatever, and you should be too, right? So let me know what you think about that, Virgo. I don't know if I said this before, but click like, subscribe, share, and go back and listen to the Aries part and the beginning of that. It'll say, because there's a message from spirit there about like healing, about a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into the whole thing because I don't remember, first of all, but I know that it blew my mind. And since this blew my mind right here, it reminded me of that. So I'm reminding you, check that out. All right. Have fun, Virgo. Take care. Love you lots. We'll be praying for you. Ciao.